what I do for a living could not be possible 15 years ago.
Exactly.
What you do for a living maybe was possible, but it would have required so much more work, and maybe it wouldn't come naturally. And I think because you decided to keep that passion going with film, watching movies even while you're studying, and I think biology is one of the hardest things to master. I mean,
It was.
yeah, that's not easy.
It's not an easy major.
Yeah.
At all.
You stick to your guts, and you become, in my opinion, I think this is true, the foremost critic in the country. You are the film critic. People try to be film critics in Lebanon. Pages come and go. You have so much time under your belt and so many movies, and I know even when you're not enjoying the movie, you're still giving a fair review. This is not easy.
This is exactly why I do it. I enjoy bad movies as well. Not everyone enjoys bad movies.
Yeah.
So I don't think very few people would pay money to watch willingly a bad movie.
This podcast is made possible by the generosity of listeners and viewers like you. Kindly consider a contribution through Patreon or PayPal. Links are in the details box. Any amount is appreciated. And follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The handle, the Beirut Banyan. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. And to stay updated with video releases, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. I'm Rani Shatar, and this is the Beirut Banyan.
Then you had the movie theater. That's the most important thing. You know, that's where you had so many movie theaters before the arrival of the multiplex. It was just each building had one movie theater or two max. Cinema Hamra, Cinema Piccadilly, Cinema El Dorado, Cinema Colisée, which was such a beautiful building. Today, I think about it in retrospect. It's funny because I'm remembering it more now emotionally than it used to be back then, because back then you're just a child, you're just a teenager, you don't remember, you just live things. When you take distance and you travel away and then you grow up, and then with time you start thinking in details how that period was significant to the way I am now. It is so embedded in my psychology. It is the most fundamental part of my upbringing, is the war between 75 and 83. I wrote a film about it called West Beirut. But when I think about it today, it's even more significant than when I wrote West Beirut.
4 years ago, I reached out to you. And before we started recording, I told you why I reached out to you. It's because I'm a huge fan of your work. But more importantly, you're a defender of what I consider the best Lebanese filmmaker ever, Ziad Doueiri. Around that time, I actually went to Paris, and I sat with him in his recording studio.
You've met him there?
Oh, I met him, and he was, he let me into his world. And we sat for roughly 2 hours, and he let me ask him everything. And that moment, I think the encouragement came, from honest individuals like yourself that defended him when he was being arrested, when he was being treated unfairly by the state, being treated unfairly by other film critics. And there's one gentleman on YouTube, was it between the movie court? I think it was on the movie court actually, where you had him on at least twice, if I'm not mistaken. There were 2 episodes with him, or maybe one that was chopped into 2.
Yeah, it was chopped.
Yeah,
And this is an interesting story, by the way.
well, we're going to dedicate time to Ziad Doueiri and your work, but I just need to emphasize this. It's an honor to meet you. I'm trying to play it cool.
Thank you.
I've been wanting to do this for 4 years.
Yeah, I know. 2
years ago, I reached out again, and you explained why it wasn't the right time, and we're going to get into that as well, maybe a slightly more sensitive topic. But before we get into all that is film and film reviews and your work and your journey, do you share that sentiment that first of all, this is the preeminent Lebanese filmmaker, and do you think his work has sort of guided you on the way? Or am I being way too nostalgic and way too kind to one person in Lebanese history? Because I wanted to ask you this question all the time. For me, it feels 100% true, but I'm curious if you feel that way.
No, I truly believe that Ziad Doueiri is a Lebanese hero when it comes to at least filmmaking. And I'm very nostalgic when it comes to West Beirut. Let's put it this way from the start.
Yeah.
This is a movie that I've seen maybe 100 times. And by the way, last year, during COVID, I was doing a few live interviews.
Yes, with Omar,
and Muhammad Shamas.
Shamas.
Muhammad Shamas.
Well, Omar in the movie.
Yes. Exactly. So I reached out to Muhammad, and he was really the nicest person you can ever meet.
Yeah.
And he said, of course, I would love to have a discussion about the movie. And we had maybe an hour-long live session on Instagram, and it's still on my page, by the way, if anyone wants to check it. So yeah, I'm very nostalgic when it comes to West Beirut, and I always end up revisiting this movie. And when it came time to interview Ziad Doueiri, and this is the other interesting story, it was a time of controversy.
Yes.
So
you were interviewing him just after he was let out.
Yeah. So what happened is maybe 10 days before the release of the movie, we got invited to watch the first press entre guillemets screening of The Insult. And I was this period was weird for me because I was just came back from my honeymoon entre guillemets again.
Okay. Yeah.
So and everything happened so fast.
Yeah.
And my partner at the time when we were doing movie court was Daniel Habib. He told me that we were invited to see his latest movie, and we went as usually we do it. So we go, we watch a movie, and we come back. And we film an episode about a mini review about the movie. So that was it for me.
So you'd already seen it at that time,
before
the whole controversy.
Exactly. We saw it before he got arrested.
Yes. Yeah.
So when we came back to his studio, we filmed an episode the way we usually do.
Yeah.
But we kept it on hold until the release. So.
Oh, I see. You were timing it.
Yeah, we were timing it for exactly the release. And when the release came, it was maybe 1 or 2 days after the whole thing had happened at the airport.
Right.
So when we dropped the review, I guess Ziad was maybe, I think he was hurt, and he was going through what people were saying on social media, and he came across this positive review of the movie, which had nothing to do with anything political.
So you didn't know him personally until then.
Exactly. I just knew that who was Ziad Doueiri because he was a legendary director for me.
So there was no communication with him or anything like
Absolutely
that.
Absolutely not.
So you're really just a fan. Giving an honest review. Of a movie that we all saw the way he was treated for. And also we know now, I think, more about the attack than we need to. The other movie what he was being arrested for.
I've never seen the movie, by the way.
Never seen it?
No.
I'll tell you that incident. That's funny. That insult to Ziad Doueiri made me watch the attack.
Okay.
And I think I'd missed it when it came out. I knew about that slight controversy, but I didn't pay too much attention to it until he was arrested. But it made me dive deep into his catalog. I watched Lila Disa.
Lila Disa is a very nice movie.
Yes, but I think I rewatched it because of that moment too. So I became a bigger fan.
Like to be completely honest, I'm not a political person. So genuinely, when we watched the movie, I was just reviewing it as a film critic. Someone who loves movies. That's it. I had no idea that there was a sort of hurricane coming.
Right.
So what happened is Ziad reached out to me on Facebook, and I really thought this was a scam or maybe a fake account. I had no idea that something
It's actually
like
him.
Yeah, exactly. ليش?
That's funny.
Why would Ziad Doueiri reach out to me? I'm just doing what I usually do. It's nothing, you know. I wouldn't call it professional.
Yeah.
I don't call myself a professional, you know, movie. I don't know what you want to call it. I was just doing it for fun, and this is what I've always said about you know, the things that we did on YouTube and Spotify and the podcast and all that. So what happened is Ziad reached out and he told me that رح أقولها بالعربي لأنه
please, yeah.
I think الطريقة اللي قالها is very Lebanese يعني. قال لي بالمشبرح لقطوا الفين من بيضاته.
I knew it was going to be something super offensive.
قال لي لقطوا الفين من بيضاته وبالمشبرح I would love إنه نعمل discussion سوا.
Excellent. So he was, that episode with him happens because he by chance.
Yeah, by chance.
You know, I like that.
It might be that one of his maybe I don't know, consultant, I don't know, maybe his surroundings, they sent him this video to tell him that
Probably,
you know,
yeah.
not everyone is talking shit about you.
Yeah.
So
You know, Anis, I'm sorry I'm interrupting, but I think you did, the way it's timed, you inspired, I think, a lot of people that were hesitating to defend him, to then really defend him publicly.
yeah.
I think I leaned on what you did, and I kind of wanted him to know as well. Although I reached out to him to have this episode with him, my first episode, but I think you were the springboard, and I owe you that. You defended a very talented, honest filmmaker for all the right reasons and more. Let me step away from that moment and go back to West Beirut, because I think that's where the love comes from.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet it's not so much Lila Disa that you find him to
Definitely,
be.
It's West Beirut.
It's West Beirut, and for me it's the same thing. Something happened today. I was walking from أول جميزة لحديد للشاف, so that like little, yeah. وأنا كل ما I see مارن أولى, the steps, it's become almost like
Landmark.
there's a duality happening to me. I'm seeing my own youth,
Okay.
because I know those steps for decades, and then I'm beginning to realize I know those steps from the movie too. And that happened recently where I was watching it. I haven't watched it 100 times like you. I've watched it maybe 20. 20 is already crazy. 100 is insane.
I had a dubbed version as well. It was in French.
Oh!
ليش ما بعرف.
Yeah,
It was dubbed.
well, there was a time when they weren't selling it anymore as DVDs. You had to get it burned, and you had to...
I think I had the dubbed version before I had the DVD.
Oh, wow.
So this was
Okay.
on VHS for sure.
Right, okay.
Yeah, this was on VHS.
So you got really-
and
yeah.
the weird thing is that even as a dubbed version, even the dubbed version had the same actors.
Right.
Not everyone.
Yeah.
But for instance, Joseph.
The same voice?
The voice.
You're kidding me.
Yeah. So Joseph, the father, Joseph Nassar.
Yes, yeah.
He's a very distinctive voice. So
Yeah.
you can immediately tell that this is him.
Yes. And he was speaking in
He was
French?
speaking in French. Yeah.
That's crazy.
This is how I remember it.
Wow.
So yeah.
So the first time you watched it was that way?
No,
Or-
the first time was in the cinema actually.
Okay,
I was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
It was with my parents, and you know, it stuck. It stuck.
There's something, I know the movie, its most obvious link is to Zarif Abdel Qadir school, the one Lycée Abdel Qadir,
Yeah.
sorry.
You know, تعرف ليش I'm very attached to this. الباك français,
Yes.
we had to do it in Lycée Abdel Qadir.
So you had to do...
So when I went to Lycée Abdel Qadir, I had some form of connection because of that movie.
Right, that's hilarious.
Which is weird.
No, but that's actually that's exactly what's happening to me. I'm having connections to the movie, but they're not the movie, they're me. I know Wadi Abu Jmil before Solidaire, after the war, and I know that those scenes are now erased for good. There will never be those downtown kind of brothel-like scenes because they're erased. But there are parts of the city where I'm walking on the Corniche and I see a kid on a bicycle, but it's not the movie, it's my own life. I think what he did was really capture Beirut.
He did.
And I don't know anyone else who's done it so eloquently. And that is why I find him to be almost on his own. And then learning that it's his own story too was profound to me. I did not know that his connection to Hamra, or his connection to really downtown and Ras Beirut, sort of bled into the movie. And I did not know that it's his brother acting until later. Yeah, I did not know.
He's a scientist, apparently.
Oh, he's a scientist, really?
Yeah, I asked Ziad about his brother.
Okay.
He lives in, I guess it was in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So he's been out of the game maybe since 98.
Right, yeah.
So this was his only, movie.
Yeah. Strange how somebody who could become so defining for a generation has been gone for 25
and
years.
He's in a completely different field.
Yeah, right.
And Muhammad Shamas, he's still very connected to this movie. And every year you see him on social media talking about a few scenes, maybe some memories.
Even Al Jazeera at some point did something with him.
They had a small segment about him.
Yeah.
He's very involved, but he never got the chance to show his skills.
Right. Although, I remember him sharing that he was in an Australian movie or Prisoner.
It was a small role in an Irish movie.
Sorry, Irish.
Yeah, yes, it was an Irish movie.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I don't know what it was actually, but he told me that it was an Irish movie. And that this happened maybe a few years after West Beirut, and that was it.
I see.
So after that, he never got any other opportunities.
Right. And I know that Rula, I think that was her name. I forgot her last name now.
Rula, I should remember.
It's fading from me. It's fading, but
I tend to forget names of characters.
Yes, yeah. What was her name? No, her real name is Rula.
Yeah, Omar Utari come on.
It'll be embedded in the episode. That's what the advantage of not doing anything live.
They're still good friends, by the way.
Are they?
Rula and Muhammad Shamas.
Okay.
They're still in contact. But Srami, for some reason, he completely vanished, I would say.
But Rula, I don't think, has done many.
No.
She's been out of it, too.
No. She's... I think I have her on Instagram. She's
really?
She has a family and maybe she lives a quiet life, I guess. This is how we can call it.
Yeah. No, but I am drawn to the movie at age 41. And I now watch it as an older man. And I think I will keep watching this movie until I die. And I know for a fact that he somehow captured the journey that is repetitive. We were talking before recording how our parents had us during the Civil War, and then our friends are now having us during Corona. Yes, exactly. And this kind of ongoing, there's a sadness, but there's also a really tremendously terrific tale. And they're both in the same story. I don't get the chance to talk about him that much on the podcast, so
everyone has a connection with this movie.
Yeah,
I think you're 41, I'm 35, so I don't have vivid memories of the war.
Yeah,
but for me, I love the friendship in the movie between Tariq, Omar.
Yeah,
despite everything going on in Beirut at the time.
Yeah,
they kept going.
They kept going, and it's good to know that Omar and Rula,
they're still
Hamad
going.
And Rula are still together.
Like another عن جد البلد مش معقول. عسيرة lycée عبد القادر.
Yes.
The day I was doing my bac français in lycée عبد القادر was the day Samir Asir was murdered. Wow. I think that's June 3rd. If my memory serves me right.
3rd, I think that's right.
Yeah,
I think that's
2005.
Wow. So you were at school doing
I was in
your
East
back.
Abd doing my back, and I don't know how we got the news, but yeah. So yeah, nothing much has changed, I guess.
No, nothing has changed. Actually, I mean, I don't really explain any of this stuff, but why not? We can put them on the table. I used to give storytelling tours of Beirut, and it was a tribute to storytellers that got it right.
Yeah.
And one of those storytellers, obviously, is Samir Asir. I would end the tour right there at the ledge where his statue is. I was reading a book in Sessin at Chase. I think.
Chase.
I mean, that's the same day you were taking your exam.
I was 18.
You were 18? I was, I guess, 24 or 23. Reading a book about Beirut, not his book, when his car bombing happened not far away. And I think that assassination pushed me to start giving a tour. It was 17 years ago, but I did that for a long time. Storytellers matter to me. Do you think West Beirut and you watching that movie as a kid is why you're in this field? Or is it much more than that? That's just one of those many movies on the way? Because the reason I'm asking it this way, I don't know anyone who has such an encyclopedia knowledge on every single movie I've never watched. And let's talk about movies. I think about a year ago, I just casually, I'm like, is Anis still at it? In the middle of Corona, right? In the middle of a very difficult stage for everyone, but also the cinema industry, you were still writing reviews. I'm like, oh, this guy will never stop. So that's real passion. And I like what you said. You don't do it, it's not so much a job, right? But I think it is passion. It's pure passion.
It was never a job for me, at least.
Where does it come from?
From my grandfather.
I see.
From my mother's side. So not the Tabet side.
Oh, the other, yeah, right. What's the other side?
His name was Julio Rizq.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he has Dominican roots.
Okay.
Santo Domingo. So it's
Wow.
the Caribbean. I've never been there, so.
Wow.
So yeah, his love for movies, was very obvious. And when I was very young, I think I was 3, maybe. He showed me his my very first movie, and it was a 1940 movie called The Thief of Baghdad.
Oh, wow.
It's based on those Arabian Nights stories.
Yeah.
Magic carpet.
Yes.
Genie in the bottle.
Less sophisticated Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah. but surprisingly, if you look at it now, it's a very avant-garde maybe movie because of the technology that was used.
Right.
So and it's in color. So this was in 1940.
Oh, wow.
It was still a bit new to have colors in movies.
Is it true Wizard of Oz is the first
1939.
Okay, so it's just a few years after.
Yeah, just
color.
one year.
1 year. Wow, yeah.
It was very new to have a full-blown colorful movie.
Yeah.
So this is how it started actually. And after that he kept showing me movies. When I think about them now, I have so many memories, but it's mostly silent movies. So Charlie Chaplin, Harold Lloyd, Buster Keaton.
So you have memories of this as a child?
Yeah.
So your grandfather is sitting with you watching movies he enjoys.
He enjoys, and he had a actual projector.
Oh wow!
With 16 or 8 millimeter movies. And you can just project them in the living room, and you would watch just a movie without a sound. Because they were silent movies, but no music, no anything. Just.
And this is during the war.
This is I would say maybe early 90s. Okay. So after the war.
So really, but things are bad, and you're watching movies with your grandfather.
Watching movies.
Could
And
you?
it's,
Yeah.
it's usually with the rest of the family, so it's not just me.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think he noticed very early on that I was the only one maybe interested.
Was actually watching.
Maybe too interested.
Yeah. Can I share something here? I don't know how to. I'll try to tone down the emotion here. I think these are very innocent and very beautiful, intimate moments that can shape your future.
They are.
And this
Absolutely.
sounds so much more rewarding to me, and with all due respect, to the pharmaceutical industry and somebody who studied biology.
Yeah.
So how the hell did you go from this lovely tale to spending, was it 7 years, 8 years, maybe longer?
I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for 7 years.
7 years, you're right. So I'm glad I've done my research. Yes.
Yeah.
What the hell were you doing there if you were drawn to film? Sorry to put it on you this way, but
This is actually a very. This feels like a therapy session.
oh shit. Okay.
Because I actually discussed this with my therapist.
Oh shit.
But you know, it's
I'll try to behave.
it's actually really interesting for me to think about all this the process, you know, the whole process. Why?
To me, and I think I'm biased. I know when I hear your name, I think movies.
Yeah.
Not just movies. I think actually marketing and almost like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So it's not just you're not just a guy with a blog.
Okay, so this is what I'm doing now, and we'll get to this.
Okay. Yeah.
But I enjoyed biology. Let's say I enjoyed biology.
Okay.
But when you're 18,
Yeah.
you don't have a roadmap.
Yeah.
At least I didn't.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that I liked movies, but I had no idea what to do with movies.
That's interesting.
This was 2004, 2005.
Right.
So we didn't maybe have social media to. Sometimes social media can be beneficial.
Yeah.
It can guide you.
So there's no curiosity in actually becoming a filmmaker.
No.
Okay.
Not a filmmaker. Maybe I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was clueless.
Yeah.
Let's just put it this way. So I chose biology because I like biology and I like biology, and I thought that I might eventually become a pharmacist. And
So there was no love lost with film. It's just that you needed to get a career going.
yeah, because sadly, I think society plays a big role in that. I graduated from LAU in the summer of 2010, and I had no roadmap again.
Yeah.
So my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time,
Yeah.
she suggested that a blog. She told me, let's start a blog. I had no idea what a blog was,
Wow.
to be completely honest with
So
you.
she kind of nudged you.
Yeah, she pushed me actually.
Wow.
I think at the time that we had maybe a few blogs in Lebanon. Gino,
I was gonna say,
and
yeah.
Blog Balade.
Yes, of course.
I think
Najib. Najib. Yes.
I think this is the year that blogs were starting to blossom, maybe, and at least in Lebanon. So yeah, she pushed me to create my own blog. She actually did the whole design and
Oh really?
ايه انا كنت نايم بالبيت يعني.
Well, no, haram. You're also years and years of biology and pharmacy.
I needed some rest.
Yeah. Did she have a? Was she trying to make it reflect you, or did she have sort of an outline? Because I don't know stories like this really that where the partner kind of just says, "This is how you do it. Here's a blog." Usually, there's a. Well, it feels like she's really the brains behind the blog.
She's very smart. She saw something that I never seen actually.
Yeah.
Which was a career.
Right.
Yeah. So this is how it started.
There's moments where I did not know if I wanted to watch a movie, and I would stumble on your blog. I remember there being a YouTube channel. I think it was Hayoka.
Hayoka came a few years after the blog.
Yeah.
So when I launched the blog, of course you need viewers,
Yeah.
a viewership. So I had to go full force when it came to social media.
Right.
So I had Twitter account, Facebook,
Yeah.
Facebook page, and I think Instagram, maybe it came a few years after that. But you had to be active.
Yeah.
So I became very active on social media
I think
around this time, maybe a year after the blog.
I think it's safe to say that probably you don't want to be on social media, but you have to be on
You
social
have to be.
Yeah.
You
I
have
feel
to
the
be.
same way, actually.
And
You have to.
I was really surprised. I had to be completely honest. The first year, maybe 2 or 3 people were reading my blog, which is normal.
Yeah.
You have to be patient when it comes to maybe gaining a few followers here and there. But after a while, I was surprised to see my followers count maybe on social media growing and growing. And ما بعرف.
It's a personal question, but it took me time before I could actually see some money in this kind of self-made pursuit. Were you able to make it a financially sustainable journey?
It took 7 years.
7 years.
7 years.
So that's a healthy reminder that you should just keep doing it and keep working on it. Because 7 years this seems like it's the right amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really have to be patient.
Yeah.
I had a job. I had a day job. So
Right.
this is where I entered the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
It was late 2010. I got my first official job, and I was actually worried from the first day. How was I going to keep the blog going?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
being a pharmaceutical salesman, it requires a lot of driving
Yeah.
and energy,
Yeah.
and you have to be on the road all the time.
Right.
But I still made it a point that I needed to have maybe 1 or 2 posts every 2-3 days on the blog, and this is how I stayed consistent.
And you felt that there was a growing interest, and you never let it go.
At first, there was no growing interest.
Right. Yeah. But by the time the channel, so we kind of mentioned this. I thought of Movie Court, which I used to watch on. I think it was Hayoka.
Hayoka channel, yeah.
I really, that is a podcast before podcasts were
Yeah.
video friendly.
This is how I call it, actually.
Yeah. So may I ask you, tell me as much as you can, why is that kind of channel not around anymore? Because I know you've gone your own route.
Yeah.
I know that the website, maybe it's not always being updated, but you kept that going. I miss Movie Court. My eye for Lebanese film came from Movie Court. I don't really have an eye so much for Netflix and Western rom-coms, although you do that very well. My eye, my very biased eye, goes to the Lebanese cinema.
movies.
And that's why I loved Movie Court. Why did you stop? Why did it stop?
Okay, so maybe we should just start from the beginning.
Let's start from the beginning.
Okay, so this was a few years after the blog.
Yeah.
I was still working in the pharmaceutical industry. Maybe it was my third company, I guess, by 2015.
Okay.
So this was 2015.
Yeah.
And the guys at Hayoka, they reach out, and they asked me if I would be interested in hosting my own show on their up-and-coming channel.
Oh, they reached out to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a brand new channel, and they had a lot of content in mind, which included a movie show, Kazdura. I'm not sure if you've seen that show.
I used to watch Kazdura.
Yeah, it's maybe more popular than movies because it's shabi.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah. Shabi. Yeah, that's well said. Yes, yeah.
I love George Khalaf.
Yes.
He's a very funny guy, and he's a good friend. But hey, to be honest, it's different. It's not. You had movies and you had Kazdura, which was a totally different.
It's not the right analogy, but Kazdura for me was popcorn. Movie Court was a main dish.
Yeah.
Even though popcorn should belong to Movie Court, but you know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. And they had a third show in mind with a guy called Hassan Julien.
Oh, I don't know.
Hassan Julien he was famous for his vines. Remember
yes.
Vines?
Twitter.
Yeah. So
Wow.
so they wanted to give him a platform to just be his silly self,
Right.
because this was what Vine was all about.
Yeah.
You know, just short.
But they were the ones that gave you.
Yeah, they gave me the platform.
Okay. Yeah.
And the deal was to have a weekly, roundup of all the movies playing in cinemas, which was good for a while. But maybe after a year, we realized that maybe we should focus more on Lebanese cinema. So this is how we shifted the show to an entirely different format, dedicated to just Lebanese movies.
And you would bring the directors. I mean, I got to know Nadine Lebeke better from your show.
But this came later on. So for a year before the whole Ziad Doueiri controversy, there was a movie called Max Wanter, and it's really one of maybe the worst movies you could ever watch, Lebanese or
I mean, it's a great title.
International movie. Yeah, it's a really interesting movie. So
Max Wanter.
It's some friendship between a dog and a. It's very.
I hope one of them was a pet. Yeah, not.
Yeah, it's it's a very. I don't know. And so what we did.
I love watching you when you get frustrated over a bad movie and knowing that you watched the whole thing.
Yeah, so what happened is I dragged the whole Heyoka team to watch this movie,
right?
And we wanted to review it eventually. So this was our not the first, but the first official, movie court, newly branded. I don't know what you want to call it. And after we posted the episode, we got surprisingly a lot of views.
Okay.
Some of the feedback was positive, and some was not. We got a lot of backlash, but this
backlash.
Yeah, backlash.
Why?
Because in Lebanon they don't want to hear the truth when it comes to
backlash about from the movie
from the people behind the movie.
Right.
So this is how it goes in Lebanon.
Yes, of course. It's personal.
From one simple review, the spotlight is automatically on you.
Yeah, right.
So this gave us more actually purpose to keep this going. So I made it a point with Danny, my partner at the time in movie court, to watch every single Lebanese release and go back to his place. His studio was in place, and shoot
a review. Wow. So we kept this going for a year. Yeah, it was
before eventually Ziad Doueiri reached out.
Which is really when I think the show really exploded.
Yeah, this is when it really exploded.
Yeah.
And this is when my life also completely changed. To be able to sit with Ziad Doueiri, Nadine Lebeke, Fuad Yamin.
Right, yeah.
This.
And you have a way of, I know that it's really about movies and about, I know the focus of the show is about the actual movie, but you're in a way gifted in how friendly you are, and that even if you don't like the movie, you're still able to give an honest. There's something refreshingly. It's not blunt. And I think you're diplomatic with your guests, so you're not embarrassing them.
Yeah, Danny wasn't.
Yeah, that's
Danny
true.
wasn't.
Yeah,
he was very cassant.
Yes. But he's likable, so he gets away with it too, in a way.
Yeah, he got away with it. I think with Nadine Lebeke it was a bit maybe controversial.
I remember it was Capernaum, right? I mean, a lot of people had bad experiences with that movie, but I liked watching your review. I thought it was fair, and I think she, by now, I think her career is stable enough that she should be able to hear some criticism.
The criticism wasn't from me. It was maybe from international critics mostly. I think the ones who saw the movie at Cannes at the time, they were a bit harsh.
Yeah.
Not all of them, maybe a few of them.
Yeah.
So
these people are coming to you. They're willing to be on your show.
When you have someone like Ziad Doueiri and you call the next guest and you tell them, I interviewed Ziad Doueiri. This is an automatic yes.
Yeah.
I think the only person who said no was, I really wanted to have him, Naeem Halawi.
Oh, why did he say no?
He just doesn't like to do interviews.
Huh.
It's
funny.
not personal.
We message sometimes on Twitter.
Yeah, he's very funny.
Yeah. I actually really miss seeing him around on TV.
I just wanted to have him just to talk about As Al-Shi and
right.
This old school
yes.
format of comedy. But this is where عن جد my life completely changed. So you had all these filmmakers and actors coming to you and having a chill discussion. I never prepared anything. I don't have a sheet with questions, so it was just.
It shows how you've actually watched the movie.
Yeah.
It came. I mean, I'm actually. They're the ones trying to sell their movie or whatever, talk about it, but I'm actually listening to what you're saying about the movie. The guest doesn't even need to be there sometimes. But why is it over? Lebanese movies didn't stop.
Yeah.
I know Corona's bad. I know the market tanked, but it's still...
The last episode we did, it was around March of 2019. So this was over 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And it was a round table with Shadi Hanna, Hisham Haddad, and Jad Bukaram. They were launching their movie لهون وحبس.
Okay.
So this was the movie version of his show.
Yes.
So I think this video got maybe over 100,000 views.
Wow.
But most of the comments were very negative.
Because of the movie or
because of the movie.
Yeah.
But since then a lot has changed. We just drifted apart, I guess. And then COVID came. But to be completely honest, what really stopped the whole thing, Danny and his crew, they officially entered the industry as writers.
Oh, okay. So they
once,
became...
So once you become part of this industry, it's going to be a bit hard to, keep a show about criticizing movies going.
So that happened while you're in the middle of this...
This happened
journey.
Around the end of 2019.
I
so
see.
before right before the Thawra.
Right. So it wouldn't have made sense to keep going.
I wanted to keep things going, but I understood why we couldn't.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
okay.
So again, once you start writing for the industry, you just can't. There's a conflict of interest eventually.
And it's writing for the industry you're reviewing.
Yeah, exactly.
And but this is a silly question, but could you have simply pursued it on your own or found someone else who would step up? Because I really miss that kind of podcast, and I think it should be there. And it's more than an Instagram live experience.
Who was really I've never met him personally, but someone who was really interested in what we were doing, Mu'in Jaber.
Oh yeah, right.
And this was way before Sarde.
Yeah.
We always talk. He's a good friend, but at the time, there was no Sarde.
Right.
There was no, maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of podcasts in town now.
Now I think everyone has a podcast.
Everyone has a podcast. And it's easy to do it, I guess.
But you have legacy, and it's my very gentle way of hoping that you're good at everything you're doing. I just do miss that routine of being able to hear what you have to say about a movie, not in the written word, and not on Instagram. Something about when you spoke to Muhammad from West Beirut, I watched it, but it's Instagram live.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. I want him in the room with you.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't know. Maybe it was the setting was it was very pleasing. It was comfortable. The table was very all inclusive, and I know that Danny may have been a bit there's someone
He
like-
was the bad cop. I was the good cop.
Yeah, you just need another bad cop as charming as him. I think the thing would take off again. But that's my way of saying I watched and I loved what you used to do on that channel. Do you think Lebanese film have improved because of reviewers like you? So in other words, there's this focus on them that they have to up their game a bit. Not Ziad Doueiri.
Forget Ziad Doueiri, yeah.
And not even Nadine Lebeki. Forget her. Yeah.
Look,
The ones that you introduced us to.
to be completely honest, yes.
Hmm.
Because the movies that we were criticizing, they were made by two giants in the industry. They're Falcon Films and Eagle Films.
Hmm.
And I think they're working with Danny now.
Oh,
So they got him as a writer
that's funny.
to
They're the ones.
to fix the mess that they did.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I don't know. Is it maybe it's not hilarious? It's maybe
I mean, it's hilarious in that how small this country is.
yeah.
The guy criticizing them works
Exactly.
for them.
Because they needed someone who knew
Yeah.
how to do it. And I think Danny knew how to do it.
So you not only
Danny,
the
by the
game.
way, the guys at Heyoka, they're all they have a degree in writing and they actually studied it.
Yeah.
So this is why they had this maybe opportunity to actually do it
Right.
with the same people that we were criticizing.
Yeah.
This is the funny part. But maybe they improved because of this,
Yeah.
you know? I'd like to think so. Even if I got a lot of messages from these people, and I have a few messages on Facebook, they were really harsh.
Harsh in that you're being too unfair to
Yeah,
them.
that I'm being unfair to their movies and my movie is good. You're just not
Yeah, you know that's
not credible enough.
But I think that's part of the social media experience. I stopped even looking at what people.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, during COVID كنا in isolation وقرفانين حياتنا it wasn't an easy time, you know. So when I decided to have these Instagram live, I think I did it for maybe 10 weeks. So I have maybe 10 guests, one every week.
Yeah.
I wanted to take it to the next level, which was a podcast.
Right.
But then anxiety and depression came along.
I would think a person like you would be at his prime, but that may not be the case.
This is what I thought at first.
Yeah.
I thought this was my playground.
Yeah.
And I even made a joke about this maybe at the start of the pandemic. Introverts are going to enjoy their time from now on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the case.
Wasn't the case.
It wasn't the case at all. So maybe the first few months I was doing fine, you know, enjoying a few stuff that I missed out on.
Yeah.
Some series maybe that I would never watch. And then you realize that you might be jobless for a long time. Because at this time, I quit the pharmaceutical industry around 2017.
Okay.
And I started working with distributors locally in Lebanon, promoting their movies, you know, and just being active with them.
This is all before 17 Tishrin.
Yeah, this was in 2017. This is when I started to have an income,
Yeah.
if you want, from everything that came before it.
Yeah.
So this is when I started to reach my goal. Let's go it like that.
So 2 years before the protests.
This was 2 years before the revolution, maybe 3 years.
And roughly 3 years before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic.
So things are moving in at least the right direction for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was doing very well. We had a lot of budget for this market.
Yeah.
And when there's a lot of budget, there's also a budget for me, personally.
Yeah,
I was doing it as a freelancer. I wasn't, you know, fully committed to one distributor or the other. So I was maybe doing one project for this, another project for that. And it was going fine. until the revolution ولا حتى COVID.
Yeah.
So when 17 happened, suddenly no one was interested in cinemas anymore and
Yeah.
going to the cinemas.
Right.
And
The story was on the streets rather than on the screen.
exactly.
Yeah.
And we were all on the streets anyway, so I was part of the Saura.
Mm.
But we all thought that at some point, maybe around January, February, things would go back to normal.
Yeah.
And March came and everything just shut down.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was fine with it for a few months. I never expected to, for it to go this long. And when everything sort of reopened around 2021, this was summer 2021.
Oh, after the blast. After
This
everything.
was a year and a half after COVID.
Yes, yeah.
So summer of 2021, cinemas reopened everywhere, and even in Lebanon. But this is where I also realized that there was no place for me anymore.
Oh.
Because no one was interested in spending any budget for this market.
No one interested in you, meaning...
No interest in me being part of, promoting movies, being the voice of upcoming films, doing premieres,
Is that mostly to do with the bigger chains not reaching out, or is it...
It's not that. It's simply put, the market.
The market.
No one was interested in spending any budget on this particular market anymore.
I think I've never thought of it in a way that there could be a permanent consequence to Corona beyond the stuff that we know, in terms of, we all lived through this very, very strange, isolating, economically crippling moment that dragged on and on and on. But I would have never imagined the cinema industry being permanently damaged.
Yeah.
In my mind, I used to think that it was more home entertainment, or the biggest curse of our lives, which is this thing. We can watch whatever we want. I was actually watching interviews with you. I was actually rewatching Movie Court on my phone. That's fine, but imagine watching West Beirut on your phone today. It's a sin, but we do it. We actually do it. So I thought that would be the end long term, but I wouldn't think Corona would turn people away from the cinema long term. I thought they would just bounce back.
It did even in the States and in Europe. It was a huge crash.
Yeah.
So this is what happened to me personally, and I was at a crossroad at this time. I realized that maybe there wasn't any place for me in this industry, at least locally.
Yeah.
So I had to look elsewhere.
I remember you online looking elsewhere.
Yeah.
And you were very open on Twitter. I never really wanted to bother you, but I did message you 2 years ago. I think this was the time you told me, maybe it's less than 2 years ago, you told me now's not the right time.
This was actually maybe around October last year.
Oh, okay, October last year. Sorry, yes.
This is when my anxiety was at its peak.
I saw you sharing. I looked at your thread up and down afterwards, and I realized that, oh yeah, there is something going on.
I felt the need to.
Yeah, you were being open.
To be
Could you go down? I know this is not film specific, but it's a film reviewer opening up about their personal lives. You're not reviewing other people's work now. You're reviewing your own life online. What in the last year took you out of that extreme discomfort into being able to be public again? Because it's a short window, but there's a strong victory here that you came out on the better side. So as much as you can say,
there's a will.
There's a will.
Yeah, this is how it starts usually. But for a long time, at least a year in isolation, I was beginning to lose interest in everything. And this includes movies. So movies were always a source of escapism, at least to me, and they weren't anymore.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't able to enjoy anything. This is when you realize that maybe there's something of
Even the movies you enjoyed watching
Yeah.
before, you were not enjoying.
nothing.
Yeah.
No music, no movies,
Mm.
nothing. Just,
Yeah.
Anxiety took over. I was fully dedicated to anxiety and giving it my full, focus. And this is how it gets worse.
What does that mean? Giving it. I've never heard anyone say it this way. Giving anxiety its full.
What I
focus.
learned is anxiety loves attention.
These are words of wisdom.
Yeah,
I didn't.
it's
Yeah.
actually true.
Huh.
So, when you're an anxious person, anxiety wants you to stay focused on anxiety,
This is great.
just to keep you in the loop. And it's a loop, endless loop of overthinking,
Mm.
fear, and we were isolated for a long time. So you had isolation, you had fear, you had economic crisis, you had the blast, you had all these triggers. It's very, I think, normal, I would say, to eventually feel like shit.
Yeah.
So and unemployment as well. So for me, it was this fear of the future.
Did any of this stuff surface in those years that were leading to 2017 when your career's taking off? Did any of these things sort of come out in ways you maybe now looking back, you're like, oh, that's there.
I was always an anxious person.
Okay.
So to
Yeah.
be completely open, I had my first panic attack at 16.
Okay. Yeah. So
But
there was something already.
there was something,
Yeah.
But it wasn't, extreme, I would say, or maybe serious.
Yeah.
You learn to navigate through it, I guess.
Yeah.
But last year, when you reached out,
شو بده هيدا
لا بالعكس I was كثير زعلت صراحة. كثير زعلت انه اقول لك لا.
هيدا
كثير زعلت انه اقول لك لا. رح اقول لك ليش؟ لانه this was a turning point لإلي انه October 2021 I decided to get help. And everyone has their own personal journey, but for me it was a combination of three things, mostly therapy, and I got a job. هيدا اللي حنوصل له.
Right. Yeah.
So I took 10 steps back, just to look at the bigger picture.
I know they're not the same story. Yours is far more, I think, serious than mine. I spent roughly a year locked in an apartment in New York, and Corona really hit New York hard.
I know.
I mean, this was real isolation. I was alone, and for almost a year, all I did was either record episodes or watch movies that made sense to me somehow. Going back in time, going even to watch Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane, yeah.
And I know that I can say that to you because you know Citizen Kane. I don't know any other friend who's ever watched it. Or, for that matter, rewatching movies that made an impact on my life. I went through Stanley Kubrick's catalog. I went through Steven Spielberg's worst movies and his best ones. I was trying to really understand Quentin Tarantino. I escaped my misery through film.
Yeah.
But it's quite important to remember that if that's what you do day in, day out, the escape may not make sense because that is your work.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's great hearing this from you that it can be both. It can be an escape, but it can also be paralysis.
Speaking of Citizen Kane, by the way, when I realized that something was off with me, when it came to anxiety and depression, I was watching Mank. Have you seen Mank?
No.
So Mank, it's on Netflix, by the way. It's a movie about the making of Citizen Kane.
Oh,
So
wow.
so
okay.
so how it came
Yes.
to be,
Yeah.
And I couldn't enjoy it. It's a great movie, but I wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
So to be in a comfortable position and not being actually comfortable,
Yeah.
this is when you realize that maybe there's something going on.
You were able to get help on your own, though. You were able to do this without. You took that decision.
I took that decision.
Yeah, that's quite courageous. I don't think
Yeah.
most people can.
And I think not many people do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got some help. وقلت خلاص it's time to change a few things.
Yeah.
And see how it goes.
You found employment and you're better than you were before. I know that. We're going to get into that, but is there a reality that you're not the same person you were 5 years ago, that your life has changed not because you wanted it to, but because cinema culture has changed?
Cinema culture did change, actually. As you said, now you have streaming platforms, you have a lot of content online. And what I noticed is that you need a big product in cinemas to push people to go to the cinema.
Yeah.
So you need something really big,
Yeah.
you know, like superhero movies, maybe a Christopher Nolan movie.
Or Quentin Tarantino.
Or Tarantino.
Yeah.
You need a big product. 10 years ago, we would go and watch anything.
Yeah.
You didn't have Netflix. Now you have Netflix, you have Disney Plus, you have Paramount Plus,
Yeah.
you have even OSN. They have a lot of HBO content.
Yeah.
So the culture changed for sure. But when I got a job, it was actually a marketing position for the KSA market with Empire Cinemas.
Oh.
So Empire Cinemas, which is the oldest cinema in Lebanon, it was founded in 1919.
Wow.
So that's over 100 years old.
Wow.
They saw an opportunity to expand in KSA because KSA was still a virgin market when it came to cinemas.
Right.
So pre-2018, zero cinema in KSA. Post-2018, you have maybe 5-6 chains operating.
So it went from a virgin market to a slutty market overnight.
If you want, yes. And they wanted me to be part of it.
Yeah.
Overnight. And it's a marketing position. I've never worked in marketing. I'm just a guy who knows a bit about movies.
But
and I guess they needed someone with some sort of knowledge about movies, about, not specifically the market itself.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm beneficial to them. Maybe. I don't know.
But this is where you want to be professionally?
Yeah.
Good.
This was, I wouldn't say the ultimate goal, but this was one of my goals.
Yeah.
To be able to have a full-time job within this interesting industry, especially in a market like KSA. It's a very interesting market. It's new.
You don't have to be there to do this.
I visit from time to time.
Okay. But you can still live here and...
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take it day by day.
Yeah.
Because also of, therapy and all of that.
Yeah.
So I learned to take things day by day, at least for now.
No,
I can't plan so far ahead.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have another pandemic, who knows? Please la.
No, but I say it selfishly because I don't know why. I want someone like you to always be here and work remotely whenever you need to. But I personally want life the way it existed 5 years ago to at least be available
it's
enough.
Easy to feel let down.
Yeah.
At least هلا.
Yeah.
You feel disappointed, you feel ما بعرف frustrated. And I was frustrated.
Yeah.
This market overnight is completely gone.
Yeah.
عن جد overnight. A
Yeah.
day before October 17, we were having a big premiere for a movie. The next day, this was it. I don't blame the ثورة ما خص ثورة وشي. It's just dynamics تبع البلد يعني. It's everything changed.
But in your position now, what would that dream job be if you could create it here? Would it be going back to who you were 5 years ago?
No.
Okay.
I'm happy where I am now.
Okay.
I'm really enjoying what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
Super energetic, surprisingly. And I had none of that when I was working in the pharmaceutical industry.
Okay.
So I'm willing to work 9 to 5.
Yes.
Sometimes 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Maybe we have
even more. Yeah.
Yeah. It's for me. It's It's fun. It never feels like a job, you know.
That's important. Actually,
It's
I like
very
that you say
important.
that.
It's very important.
You have that also. You know what it's like to be in the pharmaceutical industry, and you know that
It wasn't
this
for
is
me.
very-
I'm not criticizing the industry as I have a lot of friends who make money from it. So good for them. This is maybe their passion. But for me, I never felt like I belonged.
I met too many people that work for Medtronic
Yeah,
before it scaled down.
Yeah.
They were all miserable. So
probably.
I think you're fine.
Probably.
Given what they've been through, you're gonna be all
It's
right.
a harsh industry. You have Target, and
Yeah.
it's very competitive, and there's a lot of corruption within the medical field. It's a documentary alone.
I was gonna say somebody should do that because maybe they have already, but they
طلعوني على الجمعة علوف هلا وبيغطوا لي وجهي.
yeah there you go.
انا كنت اشتغل
With the hoodie, yeah, exactly.
انا كنت اشتغل مع الادويه بس.
بس بدنا فلتر على صوتك كمان, you know.
وهيك عم جرب اعمل انا هيدي فلتر.
I am quite biased in my personal favorites. When it comes to directors, to me they're natural. I mean, I still think Stanley Kubrick, despite his not being around for 20 years, I think he is the best filmmaker of all time. It's a personal take, and I think
he's a very diverse filmmaker.
diverse, and I can watch his movies hundreds of times.
His movies are very diverse. Yeah.
Yeah, and I still
I agree.
see things I didn't see before. Stanley Kubrick stands out. My current favorite director who's alive is Quentin Tarantino, even though he's not to everyone's liking. I still think in terms of the written, the script writing, he's a phenomenon. Wes Anderson is someone I love. I wish he would make more movies. He's quite slow in his output.
I feel his movies take a lot of his time.
Yeah.
You know, creatively and
Yes.
production-wise, post-production.
Yeah.
There's a lot of details.
A lot of details, and he's married to a Lebanese wife. Maybe that takes up half.
Yes.
Yes, Joumana. Jouman. Her last name escapes me. I think
Is she in the industry? Come in.
I think like Ziad Doueiri and what was her name?
Joël Touma.
Joël Touma.
She was a writer. Come in.
Yeah, I think they have a
Probably
professional relationship.
Wes Anderson is a very special guy.
special guy, but I'm stubborn because I still think of them, and I those are the movies I want to see in the cinema. Jurassic Park, 3D, whatever. I'll never go.
I watched Jurassic World Dominion, the last one, in KSA. I was in KSA back
Okay.
in June.
Yeah.
It was a full house.
Full house.
So you have around maybe 300 people watching Jurassic World. It's a horrible movie.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're saying that.
It's خلاص يعني it's one of those sequels إنه
Yeah.
guys طفوها
It's over. I don't care about Vin Diesel and the Fast and the Furious or whatever. I don't care about those movies.
You need more filmmakers like Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Like Tarantino, but it's hard to come by.
But are those the way cinema will stay?
Relevant?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they need to still be around. Yeah, I agree.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of filmmakers, up and coming filmmakers, that are trying to do something, original. Let's call it like that.
Yeah.
And there's a production house actually called A24, and they're doing a lot of interesting movies, mostly horror.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
that's
maybe reinventing the
genre.
genre
Yeah.
of horror. Yeah, there's a few movies. Have you seen Midsommar?
No.
This is a very interesting horror movie. You have to see it. I think it's on Netflix.
Okay.
But Sanjad, you have to be in the mood for this.
Well, yeah.
It's very. I don't have to. I don't. ما عندي فكرة how to describe this
Yeah.
movie, but it's different.
When I tell you I canceled my Netflix account, what is your reaction?
I don't blame you.
Okay, thank you.
I don't blame you.
You're the film enthusiast. Since you don't blame me, you know what I'm talking about. Where do I go? I don't know anymore.
Okay, so to guide you through this, actually on Netflix, they have a few great productions, like The Crown, for instance.
Yeah.
And the new season is out today, by the way.
Okay.
So yeah, they have their own, big productions, but mostly they're generic movies, generic series.
Yeah.
So if you really want quality content, you have to go for HBO.
Yeah.
And HBO is available on OSN Plus. So you need an OSN Plus account.
Yeah.
I guess it's, I don't know, $8-9 per month.
Yeah. Something
And
like
you
that.
get all the HBO content, and they're really good.
And HBO is not. I mean, it's everything. So it's the series, it's the movies, everything.
Yeah.
So that's where you would go.
This is where I would go. I have an Apple subscription as well.
Okay.
They have a lot of good series, but not enough.
Yeah.
So maybe they have 10 series right now, but no, guys, but not content. Yeah.
But I tried. I really tried. I couldn't get into it. Will Ferrell and his
The Shrink Next Door.
The Shrink Next Door. It never landed. Jon Stewart is not appealing on this platform.
So
that TV anchor with what's his name, the guy from The Daily Show who's now his own. What's his name? This is really bad. The guy, Mr. John Oliver, Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. Yeah.
Yes, I tried. I can't. And
Steve Carell, أنا لقلي دي office وبس.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like you have good content coming on Disney Plus, surprisingly, لأنه they have a lot of content from Hulu. Hulu apparently they have a lot of good series. And when you watch a Hulu series, you know that at least it would be decent.
Yeah.
So one of the series that I watched recently was called Dope Sick.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah. It has Michael Keaton.
Right, yeah.
And it's about a scandal that happened in the States in the late 90s. This drug called OxyContin.
Yes, exactly.
And it became
the family that invested and made that,
So I relate a bit to this series because I was a pharmaceutical salesman.
Right.
And the company who made this drug, they just sold lies to their medical representatives, and the medical representatives, they sold lies to their doctors, and doctors were prescribing it to patients who were in pain, and apparently the drug was very addictive, and they became addicted to this drug.
Yeah.
It's a whole different word.
Yeah.
So this is Masalan, for instance, this is a really good series.
And it's
a limited series.
That's on Disney?
This is on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, okay.
Because they get a lot of content from Hulu on their platforms.
Right.
So it's not just Marvel and animated movies on Disney Plus. There's a lot of good stuff.
So those subscriptions are worth paying.
It's $5 on Disney Plus.
Okay, yeah.
So I think it's fair.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm glad you but you sympathize with why I'm out of Netflix.
That's normal.
I prefer YouTube.
Yeah.
I can't. I got lost, and it's a waste of time.
There's a lot of content on YouTube, podcasts, And
YouTube is great, but actually, I pay for the premium.
Okay.
I don't pay for anything else right now.
Okay. So this is what you love.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
And I don't like commercials. Netflix, I couldn't justify it. I just couldn't.
They launched a new plan now. So you pay $6 a month, but you get ads.
With Netflix.
Yes. Instead of paying $11 or $12.
What's the point of paying if you're getting ads?
Yeah.
You know? It's just
I hate ads.
This has no satisfaction to me.
No.
Okay, so I personally think the storytelling format just dies with this phone. And the social media format makes it impossible. And we're seconds and seconds and seconds, rather than usually 2 hours for a decent film. And I think that kind of constant irritation is driving us insane. Is there any way to counterbalance that? As somebody who's spending a lot of time trying to... I'm going to guess you have to focus on the film. You can't just be on Instagram and Twitter.
Exactly, yeah.
How do you counterbalance that effectively? I don't know how.
This is a very good question, actually.
For your mental health, but also for professional reasons, and for helping this culture persist, which is patience and satisfaction.
I try as much as possible when I'm watching a movie not to check anything.
Yeah.
But you know what the problem is? You get a lot of messages from people who expect maybe a fast reply from you. Sometimes it's work, sometimes it's family. And if you disappear for 5 to 10 minutes without I replied,
You're dead.
خلص متت.
Yeah.
وينك؟
Why not? Yeah.
مرة نمت شوي زيادة نص ساعة الصبح أمي عم تدق لي بيك شي لا طلع بيني نام عادي خليني نام. نحن عنا collective anxiety especially اليوم بلبنان.
Yeah.
We have it. إذا ما حدا رد عليك بعد 5 دقايق 10 دقايق خلص you expect the worst.
Yeah. Exactly.
For some reason.
But is there a way to actually balance that? Because I don't know.
It's not easy.
I get so frustrated when I'm watching a movie, unfortunately, on my laptop, and the friend I'm watching is just posting online messages or whatever, checking Instagram. I will never say anything, but what I want to say is just put your phone away.
Yeah, put your phone. Enjoy the movie, خي. It's 2 hours.
Yeah.
بعدين as you said, it's good for your mental health.
Yeah.
This is very important. أول ما بلشت الثيرابي تبعي, one of actually the first thing يلي قال لي إياه what a therapist ما بنسيها يعني قال لي at least for 1 month ما تفتح news outlets ما تقرأ شيء وحتشوف إنه أنت لحالك شوي شوي حتصير تبعد عن النيجاتيف I guess.
So the therapist is telling you disconnect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
قال لي disconnect.
Yeah.
I had to do it for a while يعني at least at first لأنه كنت ما كان في أقرأ شيء يعني.
Yeah.
Anything would trigger me. استقبل هذا واستقبل هذا خي حلاني خلص راسي رح يبج.
Oh, you mean politics was
Politics.
Shit.
Politics and الأوضاع المعيشية خي كمان هون بلبنان إنه ساعة الدولار صار 40,000 ساعة شو بعرفني البنوك مسكرة ساعة ما فيك تسحب مصرياتك ساعة ما في كهرباء. It's easy to be triggered.
Yeah.
So I had to take a step back حتى through social media وهلا I try as much as possible to because I'm feeling good now I still try to stay away as much as possible.
I see. So you're proactively
trying
but you're keeping that satisfaction you get from being patient by just listening to the news maybe once a day instead of
once a day
20 times or 50 or whatever.
هو اللي صرنا overdoing it.
Yeah.
overdoing it. هلا I found كمان غير other hobbies I'm playing music again مثلا.
Yeah.
So I'm back to something that I was doing maybe 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
تعلمت جيتار كان عمري 16 ونسيتها.
That's good. So you have that creative output.
Yeah, it's بالفرنسية بيقولوا له défoulement.
Okay.
défoulement فشة خلق. بتفرز سيروتونين بلا ما تحس.
Right.
Just by doing something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah. You think streaming series are as profound as the best movies of all time? مثلا Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, The Crown.
There's a
Sopranos.
lot of great series including The Crown, Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
أيام كان نحضر 24.
24, yes.
Those were entertaining. بس هلا يعني since the pandemic I made it a point to be more involved with series. I have to be up to date مش بكل شيء بس أنا at least you know a few key series that you have to see and I realized that there's a lot of great content being put in these series at least with limited series as well.
This is what I was limited series.
Limited series. يعني you have an 8 episode limited series beginning end. This is perfect for me.
Not a Game of Thrones that ends in catastrophe. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have years of investment بالآخر يجيك ending super disappointing.
And the book's not even done, you know?
Exactly. So بس my latest إذا بدك revelation إنه I still prefer movies.
Me too.
So when I came back, when I went to the movies again and رجعنا هيك شوي ما في بقى هيدا الكوفيد fear. I go at least once a week to the movies the same way I used to do when I was younger and I realized that I enjoy the movie going experience more than series. This is my opinion يعني بس أنا.
Your opinion is shared because I think at the end of the day you can't watch The Wire in a cinema.
Yeah.
I miss the cinema.
Cinema experience. Yeah.
My first the first movie I fell in love with was Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction with my parents that wanted to leave because of the violence, the blood, and me wanting to stay. And in Cinema Vendôme, which is where the weird tower now, the stairs are there but the cinema's gone. You know what I'm talking about, Cinema Vendôme.
انتوا جامعة بيروت. نحن كنا ساكنين بكسروان. انا my memories هن لا سيتي.
Oh, I remember La Cité.
La Cité, Espace, which was Empire Cinemas.
Espace 2000.
Yeah, this was Empire Cinemas, by the way.
Right.
Circuit Planet. And we had a very small cinema called Cinema Kaslik, simply Cinema Kaslik.
I did the porno film?
No, it wasn't porno. it was a very small cinema, but I have a lot of memories there.
Me too.
So same way that you do.
I actually, it's funny, Kaslik is where I used to go as a teenager because the cinemas of Beirut were not really, Cinema Al-Hamra was a erotic cinema. It's mostly.
في واحدة بش حمود هلا هيك.
But it's still there.
I think بيحطوا هيك قصص.
Yeah, I think
sometimes أوقات بشوف posters مثلا لبروس لي.
Yeah.
بس I guess بتفوت بيطلع لك شيء تاني.
يطلع بروس لي. No, but even, Bliss was run down, and that cinema Dem AUB was a porno cinema. The cinema culture had already gone to those the what do they call, multiplex cinemas.
Once صار في شيء اسمه malls.
Yeah.
بلبنان at least.
Yeah.
ما بقى في interest بالسينما يلي برات المول.
Vendôme, which was in the middle of Marim Khair, was still running. And I saw my favorite movie, probably of all time, Pulp Fiction. In that cinema. And to me, you have to be, it's a shared experience.
Yeah.
It's not isolating. Series are isolating.
Yeah.
Movies, to me, the way they're meant to be.
You have to experience them with the people.
And you have to hear people laughing the way you would hear it. Yeah, it has to be public enough.
What you're saying is very, very true. My favorite memory is we're watching Dark Knight in 2008.
Yeah.
The Full House.
Yeah.
And everyone, just going crazy.
Yeah.
Another example is Return.
Cheering Batman.
Cheering.
Yes.
Return of the King. بتذكر كتير منيح. Return of the King. There's one scene بيكون فرودو بالكيف وفي there's a giant spider وراه. والعالم وراك بس ذكر فيه ولا تستخدمه لا مش هالقد بس. It's interesting.
Yes, it should be like that.
وراك انه هو حيطلع على وراه.
That would be great if he did,
او مثلا شو في غير فيلم مثلا هيك عن جد كانت الاكسبيرينس مع عالم مخيفه يعني Inception مثلا.
Yeah, of course, Inception.
This was an interesting experience.
Yeah. Oh, people were you felt it. People had never seen something like this.
There's a form of connection I think we took for granted.
Yeah.
At least I did.
I think the internet, smartphones, Corona, just the way the world functions today, it has detached us too much from that.
Yeah. This is why I enjoyed watching Jurassic World in KSA with a full house, regardless.
Yeah.
من الفيلم الخرا. بس the experience is nice.
Yeah.
It's the experience. This is it. The experience.
Well said. I shared it already. Pulp Fiction is my favorite movie. Now that seems like a silly one to choose, but I love it because it's not a chronological story, the way we understand storytelling. He found a new way. Tarantino developed a new method of how to deliver 10 stories at once, and he kind of started it with Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
But he really mastered it in Pulp Fiction. And when I think of the synergy between music, cinematography, I love John Travolta because of that movie, not because of Grease or Saturday Night Fever.
أهلنا بيحبوه المرات في غريس.
100%. It's everything that you want in the perfect script, and he delivered it. And for me, it stands the test of time. Pulp Fiction is a masterpiece. If I had to ask you the same question, what is your favorite movie?
This is a very broad question. I think I have a favorite movie every month. حسب المود.
حسب المود.
بس لا عن جد one of my ultimate favorite movies is Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. I would say. I love Hitchcock movies.
You won't believe this, but I actually wrote Alfred Hitchcock for you right here.
Really?
It's right here, actually. I was going to ask you of the three, Hitchcock, Kubrick, or Spielberg, and you went Hitchcock.
Personally, it's Hitchcock.
Yeah.
I think I always enjoy going back to his movies, and he's made a lot, like 54 Hitchcock movies. Not all of them are great, but you have a bunch of really timeless movies, and Vertigo is one of them.
Vertigo, you know, I know The Birds because I watched that movie way too many times. Vertigo, I think I saw when I was a kid. I'm going to watch it again.
You have to see it again.
Yeah.
It's as you said with Pulp Fiction, it's a combination of cinematography, a nice twist.
Yeah.
You know, the pace of the movie. It's very mesmerizing. And it's one of Martin Scorsese's favorite movies.
Really?
And Scorsese is also one of my favorite filmmakers.
There you go.
I love his movies.
How about then a more technical question? Maybe not your favorite movie, but what you think is the best movie made?
Best movie made?
Yeah, so it's not necessarily your favorite movie, but you could say that is the best movie ever produced.
It may sound maybe generic, but I think that The Godfather, at least the first two movies, they're perfect movies.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily my favorite movies of all time, but I think that both of these movies are perfect. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
And it may sound generic because everyone knows The Godfather, and I've seen a lot of, similar movies.
Yeah.
Goodfellas is a good example.
Right. Also Scorsese.
Scorsese,
right?
yeah.
So I like that you acknowledge they're not your favorite movies, but you could say they're the best. Or among the best.
Yeah, definitely among the best.
As somebody who doesn't have the knowledge you do, I would say 2001, Space Odyssey.
2001 also.
Yeah.
You love Kubrick.
I love Kubrick, and I think that story ends with where we are right now.
Yeah.
This transformation with technology that has driven us crazy, but also brought us together. I wouldn't know about you had you not used social media, had you not used your blog 12 years ago, had you not been open about your own journey recently, and that you succeeded, you overcame something personal, and that you're still involved in this industry in a slightly different way. I'm happy that you're still here, and I'm happy you're able to do what you love doing from this country. If you have to leave one day, I hope you return. This is an honor for me. Second to Ziad Doueiri. I've been looking forward to this episode for a long, long time.
This is a huge statement. Thank you.
I mean it.
مع زياد.
I mean it. I've met hundreds. I've had hundreds of episodes, hundreds of discussions. Yeah, you and Ziad. Those were the two I always wanted to do.
Thank you so much شوني عن جد يعني أول شيء أنت كمان you're very consistent بالبودكاست تبعك يعني you've been doing it non-stop for 4 years I guess. مش معقول يعني إنه كيف هذا بجيب جاس عرفت أنا كنت
It takes 4 years.
أنا كنت خبط براسي إنه مين بدنا نجيب هلا مين بده يرد علينا. I know it's not easy to keep it going يعني especially eventually ما بقعد في guests يعني.
Well, this is it.
يمكن مشان هيك انت شوف قديش عن جد بعرف البودكاست تبعي مشان هيك صرنا شايفين رواد طه مرتين ونجاة عون صليبة كمان twice ومين كمان
The reruns, let's see.
بس انه they always have something new to say لانه اسم الله البوليتكس بلبنان يعني it's ever changing يعني انا in terms of movies كمان it's changing بس انه next time يمكن نقعد نحكي شوي in depth اكثر عن الافلام شي فيلم مثلا انا بحبه كتير يعني بس هلا it's a broad 2 hours of discussion يعني.
What I discovered is that the story that we both love, West Beirut, if you just let it keep expanding, you end up trying to unlayer the whole country's journey. And you can have thousands of episodes.
Yeah.
But over time, when there were protests on the street, I had a co-host. We did 2 episodes per day. In the middle of Sabatash Tishrin, we were doing 2 episodes back to back. She was living in Martyrs Square with a microphone. So every day she would just have a new episode coming out. When the elections were happening, and to me that was the journey of October 17, reaching its political destination every day, episode. But I do prefer once a week because, you need to let these stories sit a bit. And you don't want too many reruns too.
That's fine, it's fine. Eventually, reruns, I wouldn't call them reruns.
Yeah.
Just, same guest, different maybe stories.
Yes, same guest, different story. But this one is a unique guest with his own story. So it's an honor for me.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for listening and watching. And a friendly reminder to support this podcast by contributing through Patreon or PayPal. All links are in the details box. Until next time, I'm Rani Shatah, and this is the Beirut Banyan.